To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you can stand, remain standing, I'm going to ask Reverend Murphy to come forward for the blessing.
If we could just take a moment to honor our late Mayor, Tim Shannon. What a great loss to our community. We want to remember his family in our prayers and thank God for the blessing that he has been to us. We also want to extend our well wishes to Mr. Trongone for his, he's had a little bit of a physical challenge and better, so we just want to keep him in our prayers as well. Father God, for all of your blessings, we are deeply grateful. For the people whose lives touch ours and impact ours, we thank you. We pray especially for the Shannon family that you'll bring them continued comfort. We remember Mr. Trongone today and ask for your healing touch on his body and encouragement in his spirit. We thank you, God, for all who have gathered here for the difference that they are making in making our city a better place. Bless our leadership, bless our gathering, bless the presentation. Bless all those who serve. Thank you for the food that has been provided. May it nourish and strengthen us that we may serve you well through serving others. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
You may be seated. We want to give a big thank you to our growing list of corporate partners, our diamond sponsors, ARC International Durand, Millville Savings Bank, Ocean First Bank, Headmar Property Support, Marped LLC, our gold sponsors, Century 21 Savings Bank, or Century Savings Bank, sorry, I was a realtor one time in my life, and Century 21 was back to mine. Mintz Insurance, Allen Associates, our silver sponsors, Inspira Health Network, The Authority, City of Millville, and South Jersey Gas. Also a special thank you to today's luncheon host, Millville Public Schools. And to our awards host today who wish to remain anonymous, it is because of a tribute to the great men and women who have served as president of the Millville Kiwanis over the past 100 years. And of course, last but not least, a big shout out to the staff at NJMP for the great food and venue. At this time, I would like to invite Jerry Cavella, our executive director, up for some important announcements.
Thank you, Madam President. So, who expected to be at the Officers Club today? Raise your hand. So you all received your email alerting you that we're changing location. Dana did a wonderful job in making the move from the Officers Club to here. Dana, thank you so much for everything you do. There was some heavy negotiation that went into it. It finally came down to the peanut butter cup dessert. So I acknowledge that was okay. So we approved it and moved ahead. So that's the best dessert we've had so far. We're all good. Okay, it's special. So you know my role. I'll kind of acknowledge who's here. Right. So we have 35 businesses represented here today, including some civic organizations. We also have some special guests. Welcome all. So what's coming up? March 8th, mark your calendar. We will have Mayor Lisa Orndorff's State of the City address to the Greater Millville Chamber of Commerce. As you're probably now aware, there's a lot of activity taking place, and the mayor will provide both a look back and a look ahead during her speech at our luncheon. Tickets are on sale right now, so we expect a rather large crowd. Please get your tickets in advance. That makes our job a little easier in setting up the room. Our April luncheon will be held at NJMP on April 12th. Stay tuned. We're finalizing a very unique program. We hope to announce that today, but mark it on your calendar. April 12th, you will want to be at our luncheon. On April 22nd, we'll be holding the 3rd annual comedy show at the Millville Elks Lodge. Tickets are now on sale through the website. The cost is $30 per person. If you buy a table of 8, There's a discounted price of $210, so you save $30 on the table. Last year's show was packed house, so get your seats reserved now. I promise to wear the same ugly shirt I wore last year, so people can pick on me during the event, so it's going to be a fun night. Again, register through the GMCC website.
What was that date again, Jerry?
April 22nd. In March, bear with me on this, so there's a lot of details of this. In March, we will be launching our 2023 Success Series. We have some great presenters who will be discussing their own unique models of success with the hope that this insight will spark other business professionals to seize the opportunity to elevate your own game. Right? We have some great people in store. So as part of the program, we're changing it up a little bit this year. We're reaching out to our members who would like to share their own success stories through this program. If you would like to be a part of this online series of success sessions, please call or email me, and I would be happy to share more details. But the idea this year is we want to engage in open conversation and hear about different models of success that people have utilized to achieve their level of success. So as we gather notes, we learn, we enhance what we're doing, we're building a better business community, we're building a stronger membership through that. So you'll see some emails going out with registration. If you're interested in presenting, please give me a call. Pride in Millville will be held on Wednesday, May 17th at the Leroy Theater. If you have anyone that you would like to nominate for any of the PIM categories, please have all nominations in no later than Friday, February 24th. You can also send out the link for people. Oops, sorry, I feel like I'm the president here reading these notes. I will be sending out a link for people to submit the nominations. We'll be looking for sponsors for what will be an amazing annual event, so keep that in mind. But mark your calendars again, May 17th. And because of Gary Galloway's insistence, we are already mentioning the date of the 2023 Downtown Car Show. Gary likes to get that date out early, so that will be on Saturday, September 16th. The rain date will be Sunday, September 17th. Last year was arguably one of the finer shows that we've had in about a decade. Gary, Rob Connor, and Chuck Weibel, the chair people of that event, are promising that that will be even a more enhanced event. So September 16th, put that on your calendar. A special thank you to all our members who have completed the registration process so you can access the full website. I see many people here today that have gone through that process. Why should you? There's an incredible back office to our website that you can utilize to grow your business. If you're not taking part in that process, you're missing some really, really key things, key tools that you can use to build your business. Finally, please note that the Chamber has a new address. Is everybody aware of this? A few people, yes. So am I. 1118 North High Street, the Reeves of Melvin building. When you go by that historic building, you're going to see a nice green sign under the Reeves and Melvin building that says Greater Millville Chamber of Commerce. So that's our new headquarters. We're back on High Street. We're close to the downtown area. We are ready to assist businesses not only downtown but across the city. So if you need our address, it's no longer G Street. Okay, it is 1118 North High Street. So what I would like to do now is ask Reverend Murphy to come on up and introduce this month's outstanding citizen. Very fittingly this year, we have chosen not to honor a person, but persons and organizations that have made a difference in our community. And so you will not be surprised that this year, this month, our nominee is the Millville Kiwanis Club. For 100 years, the Millville Kiwanis Club has been faithful to its mission, an organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child at a time, one community at a time. Have you noticed the theme? The investment in our youth. And you're going to hear that again through the presentation. I think there's something really significant about investing in our youth. The international organization, founded in Detroit, Michigan, is now headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana, and is located in 80 nations. It only predates Millville's organization by 8 years. That's very significant. Early on, Millville embraced their mission. They believe in community collaboration. For example, as we learned from our December recognition, the Kiwanis and the Key Club are active partners in community service, sponsoring the Easter egg hunt, the senior barbecue, and the annual Christmas parade. When it comes to school safety and fostering servant leadership, the Kiwanis sponsor the elementary safety patrols through the year, including their annual trip to Washington, D.C. The Kiwanis Club is also vital in the sponsorship of the Millville Police Athletic League, which, through the support of organizations such as this, has grown exponentially in the last few years. With multiple sports programs, fishing, and outings, more than 350 Millville youth are involved in positive team-building activities and learning experiences. Other investments in our youth include sponsoring 4-H, a vital program in this county that is rich in agriculture and farming. There are also college scholarships which are offered and that offset the cost of higher education, and the lasting impact of those recipients on the lives of others can be felt. One activity that's in the planning is a fall cornhole tournament, so stay tuned for details on that. Yes, one child at a time, one community at a time. The Kiwanis are making a difference that has richly benefited the city of Millville, and we would like to take this opportunity to recognize them. Their president is Samantha Cruz. Andrew Van Hook is the first vice president. Stephanie DeRose is the second vice president. And Allison Corson, the secretary, and Mike Mitchell, the treasurer. We want to congratulate all of you for your leadership and the Kiwanis for their involvement. We congratulate you on your 100th anniversary, and we celebrate with you with gratitude for the service that you do to our community. And I'd like to ask all of you, come on. Samantha, Mike, Stephanie, would you come up? They're well represented here today, and I'm sure you notice the familiar faces. These are all people who are involved deeply in the community.
I left my partner in crime here, Stephanie DeRose, up because I didn't want Pastor Murphy stealing our thunder about our 100th anniversary dinner, which Stephanie's going to do. But real quickly in the room, I had seen other Kiwanians that are here. So if you could stand up for me, if you are in Kiwanis, been in Kiwanis. If you've been in Kiwanis and you're not a Kiwanian right now, we need to steal you back. But I would like if you had to sit around. These are some wonderful people that help us serve our community way longer than I have. I just happen to be the president currently. So we're very, very excited about a very, very wonderful event coming up, which I'm going to give to Ms. Stephanie. But thank you very much for giving us this award from the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you so much. I do just want to remind everyone here, and we have shared that invitation, we are celebrating the 100th year anniversary, which is something really to be said. One of the things that we want as an overarching theme is to recognize and invite all community associations that have worked to the benefit of our youth. We have so many wonderful organizations in the city of Millville, not just Kiwanis. We want to reinvigorate Kiwanis to really get our membership up, to really all work towards a common goal. What's happened right now is we have about 10 to 15 organizations within the city of Millville that all work to benefit our youth. We want to join forces and really be a force to be reckoned with. So please join us in support and celebration of the 100th year anniversary of Kiwanis. Please, if you've been a member, rejoin. And really we're looking to see ways that we can really be collective in working towards the same goals for our students. So as the former principal of the high school, obviously I'm very proud of our Key Club that works closely with Kiwanis and works closely with the community. So we want to give them every opportunity, our student safety organizations at our elementary levels. So we just want to thank everybody that's here and welcome you to join us once again on February 23rd. I hope you like the peanut butter pie. We have apple cobbler on the menu at that event, but it will be warm apple cobbler. And it will be here at the Finish Line Pub on February 23rd from 6 to 9. So please join us. You can purchase tickets at Eventbrite, right online, and purchase as many as you want. And we'll be good to go. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you again, and congratulations to the Kiwanis Club. Now I'm going to bring Sam Cruz back up here because I thought she was going to sit down, so I was going to say something before about sit down. But she has going to be announcing the winners from our 2022 Christmas parade.
So this was extremely funny that I was accepting and then giving awards out all the same day. But with all the different things that the Chamber's been having here, we are going to do our Christmas parade. I know it's a little late, but Christmas all year long, right? So the first one, I'm not too sure if the representative is here, but the 2022 Millville Christmas Parade Best Car Group, it goes to Bring the Noise. That representative? All right, I will make sure that we get that. I do know we have a representative for this one. Our 2022 Millville Christmas Parade Best Float goes to our Millville Army Airfield Museum. Lisa, do you want to come up? I think I see you up here. If anybody else wants to come up. I don't know if you've seen, but we had an amazing tank go down our street. We were worried. Right, public safety? We were worried that the tank wasn't going to make it down, but we made do. So, beautiful, thank you, and everybody thought you guys, hands down, had the best float.
That's a museum now, so come visit.
Next, I have the best walking group, which is the Rising Stars Dance Academy. These ladies, and I think you have a couple fellows with you on your teams as well, I mean, they just bring a whole entire element of excitement. These kids skip, dance, hop, all the way down the street. I get tired after the first block, okay? So thank you so much for always being part of our Christmas parade. You bring so much enjoyment to everyone on the blocks. And last but not least, my fellow members here at the City of Millville, our best responder group this year is going to be the Millville Fire Department. So the chief and Mr. Hewitt like to come up and accept that award. So fire engines and ambulances and all that is really not really my favorite, but I have to say you guys did a great job this year. And you get, yes, so let me tell that real quick story because you are right. You saved my life a couple years ago. we could not find a float. During COVID and all that stuff, and I called the fire department, and they're like, yeah, what's the age of the truck? 1925. you can have it and put Santa on it. So you saved our lives that year, and we really, really appreciate that. And Santa loves it. We love it. Everyone loves it. So we'll continue on with that tradition. So we appreciate all you guys participating in our Millville Christmas Parade. And Christmas Parade 2023, we don't have to announce that date. It always the same one, Black Friday. So we will see you on the parade route then as well. So thank you very much for participating and being part of our event.
At this time, we're going to take a short break while the food's being served, and then we'll start our program. Go enjoy your lunch.
Allen Associates is a family-owned and operated full-service agency, managing a broad base of clients in the New Jersey area. Allen Associates has been a leader in health benefits and financial services including health, prescription, life insurance, pension, 401k plans and estate planning. With more than 60 years of experience and a staff of highly trained and dedicated professionals, Allen Associates is noted for its ability to build strong, long-term relationships with our clients and the communities we serve. Give them a call today at 856-692-2250. Allen Associates, your complete health and financial services, Vineland, New Jersey.
Yeah.
was it. That was it. I wonder who that is. That's funny.
The others weren't working.
Just for tuition or just outside? For being a freshman. For being a sophomore. He's going to graduate a millionaire and have to work day to Some people invest that well. So, does every freshman player get that amount, or is it based on the So, like AJ doesn't. But like everybody gets 50. It's not like AJ got 50. Somebody else got 20. It's not based on your ability to. Well, that's kind of sort of because even if you offer afterwards, kids going in, you know they're going to it's going to be offered, right? So if I'm looking at two schools, do I look at last year what they offered the kids and say, well, this school offered more, I'm going here?
And we have to tell people.
I hope everybody's enjoying their lunch. Our program. And our program today is Millville Public Schools Yearly Overview of 2022 and 2023. We always look forward to hearing about what wonderful things they're doing in our schools. So to start the program, I'm going to bring up Stephanie DeRose, the assistant principal. Oh, superintendent, sorry. Just so you know, as assistant principal, I was in charge of discipline, and you're all suspended for today. You can all go home after today's presentation. So I just want to thank everyone for coming today. We have a great presentation. Typically, this is the position of the superintendent to introduce his team or her team, and I was graced with this honor in Tony's absence, and I'm going to take it very seriously because we have a great group of people that we all work together with. So today we're going to be reviewing a lot of aspects of the school district, some projects we've been working on, specifically curriculum, ways that we can seek help from all of you as community members and business owners in the city of Millville. Some things that would be of importance, such as some improvements in our school facilities, things that deal with budget, and also safety and security. So I would like to start the program off by introducing Dr. Matt Mazzoni, who is our assistant superintendent
of pre-K to 5. So Dr. Mazzoni.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. Before I get started, I would like to recognize one of our board members that's joining us today. So Miss Debbie Malone, please stand, Debbie, be recognized. The Board of Education is a great representation of all the wonderful things happening in Millville right now. So I have the charge of overseeing pre-K to 5, and there is 6 schools underneath that. So I just want to talk a little bit about the goals that we have in the school, some of the goals along with what we're implementing to reach that, and just talk about the other initiatives. Let's go through it. So again, number one goal that we have for this school year, hopefully you heard of it, and hopefully it's been all positive, and that is a new reading and writing program. It's called the American Reading Company. So it's ARC. And that is, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but we are implementing that through grades K through 5 at this point. The second piece, and I will dig a little deeper so you have understanding, it's about moving our students that are at the emergency level of reading. So that's the students that are really struggling to read. And we know what the research is going to say, that if you don't have those foundations of reading skills by 3rd grade, you're not going to get that. Okay, so we are in a race to make sure our students are equipped to be readers, because with readers is going to come a lot of success in our lives. The second piece is looking at our math goals. So we have developed some interim unit assessments, and we're looking for 30% of our population to score 70 or higher on those assessments. So you're probably saying 30%, that is not that high, right? But we have a starting point. And I wish I had some data for Cumberland County. But just so you have an idea of our starting point, in blue represents the state average on last year's state assessment in English language arts. And in yellow is how we scored in Millville. So you can see we're a little significantly below the state average in that. So how are we addressing that? Because that's where it's at. That's the reality. What are we doing today? So next slide. This talks about the ARC reading program, American Reading Company. So this is for students we're bringing in. We spent a lot of money to bring a diverse number of books into students' hands. So students have the ability to pick books at their reading level. And we are building that love for reading. So every single day, students should be taking books home, reading with families, because we know, and I will talk further about that relationship. Another big piece of this is reading, and this program is incorporating history and science. So we don't just teach it as a singleton or in isolation. So it brings in the students right now are studying the family and that structures of family. They're also studying, another unit we did was looking at bugs. So you can see zoology, ecology, marine life. So the students are getting books. I went in rooms and they're picking up, some of the kids love shark books. So it's very high interest books for the students. Now the other big component of this, and this has been, it's been great, but it's also a challenge, is using a program, what we say, school pace. So the teachers now are taking data, what we call progress monitoring. So on a daily basis, they are conferencing with students, listening to them read, looking at those skills, strategies that we need to focus on with individual students, with groups of students. So many of us remember when we were in school, how was reading taught? You get a book, and the teacher would do round robin reading, and you were like, all right, I have the 3rd paragraph. All right, I have to make sure I know every single word in that, right? And then I imagine like some of us were like, we're reading ahead, and the teacher said, you can't read ahead. So this is a total opposite approach to that. We want students to be successful readers, and we want to give them books that are high interest, and we want them constantly reading, because we know to be a better reader, you have to read. Let's try the next slide here. I'm going to shift to math, and you can see our results where we were. So you see the state average where we are as a district. And again, I can look at many different reasons for that, and I don't want to drill in, how much learning loss was for the past 2 years, but we have a job in front of us. One of the things is we need students to show up. And I'll address that further. But this is the reality of our math scores right now. And how are we handling that and how are we moving forward? So we have a program called Eureka Math, and we are in the 5th year of implementation, and we are seeing some positive results with these interim unit assessments that we're putting in. So once again, we're progress monitoring every single day. Our supervisor, Mr. Bobby Barber, does a great job meeting with teachers, looking at where students have deficiencies, how we're reteaching those skills, and we're moving in the right direction with our data there. On top of that, because again, we always hear about the new math, but we're not just getting away. We have to make sure that students have those foundational skills. We do fact fluency. So students are practicing that. Also, Zern Math. So we do have a one-to-one initiative in the district, so every student has the capability of accessing a Chromebook. They can take them home and log on and work on these programs. So we have many, many supports for our students. Now, I keep saying the same thing. So it's not just about students aren't making the mark. What are we going to do, right? We have to build supports every step of the way to make sure our kids are successful. And that's some of the things that we're highlighting here. So to the left, I want to recognize we have 2 schools in the elementary that are New Jersey School of Character. So they have, I believe there's 11 principles that they had to fill out, looking at their culture, climate. There are a lot of pieces to that, and we're going to recognize those 2 schools. One school is our Child Family Center, CFC, so congratulations to them for being recognized by the state. Also, we have Bacon Elementary School. So let's put our hands together for those 2 schools that have done that. Other district initiatives that we're doing is when a student is deficient in a skill, we need to put those supports in place. So we have a child study team, we have after-school tutoring, we have response to intervention teachers, we have a summer school program that we're hopefully targeting 300 students. So we are going to do everything we can to make sure students are successful in that. I want to go to the next slide because I know my time is coming up. But because I wanted to get this, because I believe this is one of the most important pieces to that. So we have to build that relationship with our families. So we have to make sure that they feel comfortable with what the school's doing and vice versa. So we have to figure out how we can strengthen that partnership with them, because it's dependent, right? It's dependent on us working together for student success. So I get a little excited with this, and I'll take questions later, but this time I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Stephanie DeRose, our Assistant Superintendent in grades 6 through 12. Thank you.
So Dr. Mazzoni and his team have been doing a tremendous amount of work to make sure that our students have the foundational skills that they need for when they get to secondary schools. I get all the fun stuff, if you ask me. So what I work with is currently Lakeside Middle School, which is grades 6 through 8, the high school, which is 9 through 12, and as well as the Thunderbolt Academy, which is our alternative program for our students that need additional supports. So I'm going to start off. Here at Millville Public Schools, we make champions. So we kind of already know that. We have our football team that has done well, but not just our football team, our entire athletic program. We also have earned tremendous amounts of accolades as well as awards with our Fine and Performing Arts division. So our Fine and Performing Arts department is continuing to expand and provide students with opportunities that get them to be able to go post-secondary or into the field in performing arts. And also for our School of Character, as Dr. Mazzoni mentioned, our Child Family Center and Bacon Elementary School, but also Lakeside Middle School and Millville High School. And specifically those 2 secondary schools were recognized as State School of Character and are now going for National School of Character. So that, therefore, the theme of We Make Champions. Next slide. So this is congratulations to those two schools, and we are going to hopefully get a word on their national recognition. So some of the things that we've done at Lakeside Middle School. Lakeside Middle School is a very large school. For those that have been in the community for a long time, it's the Prudential Building. The Prudential Building is huge. We have well over 1,100 students in that location, and it's 1,100 middle schoolers. Let's rephrase that. So one of the things that we did as a change is to really give the students the individualized care that they need and give them the supports that they need. So we went to what's called a teams model. So students are potted in teams, and the teachers collaborate and work with their students in that team. Students do not walk among the school in a more departmentalized model, which is what you'll see at the high school. All the math teachers are in one wing. All the English teachers are in another. Now we have a 6th grade with 4 teams, 7th grade with 4 teams, and those students rotate within that team and have their 4 teachers. Some other things that we've done at the middle school is we've offered and increased our after-school activities. We're trying to get students the opportunities after school to keep them motivated to stay in school. As the former high school principal, I know the importance of getting students to be hooked early to prevent students from dropping out. Dr. Mazzoni reviewed test scores. Yes, those are glaring statistics. However, we do need to keep in mind the fact that our low socioeconomic community that we are servicing, we tend to have a lower performing academic achievement. So we want to try to go and provide those supports in partnership with our city services and our other organizations to make sure that we can fill all of those gaps to in turn affect them positively academically. Just in this year alone, with some of the shifts in our decision making, we have decreased our discipline events by 32%. That's glaring. 32% in such a short amount of time. We're only halfway through the year, and we've had 32% less incidences in behavior. Because when we create an environment that students are happy in, they are having opportunities to do the things that they love. They want to be there. They don't want to be excluded from school. Once again, that's the hook that we've referenced. And then also creating a media center that is kind of the hub of the school. This was a model, and I am going to point out Meg Finney, who's now our public information officer. I was fortunate enough to work with her as my media specialist. We felt that there was the importance of having a hub within the school, a place for kids to go, no matter what they like, if they're not an athlete, if they're not necessarily a musician, a place to go to be who they are. And that was the media center. They can go there for lunch, they can go there after school, they can work on their own stuff, and really creating an environment that they can be with their friends. They want to sit and hang out in the library. I mean, that alone is a great accomplishment. So we're continuing that same model at the middle school level. Some things that we value here at Millville Public Schools is our partnerships. Dr. Mazzoni referenced the partnership between home and school. At the secondary level, we need it between school and business owners. Because the reality is we want to provide students with the necessary skills to be employees within your organization. We need to work together with you to see what type of gaps are you noticing with your employees and how can we fill that need. We do this through various platforms. One is through our Perkins programs or our career and tech ed programs. And I'll go into that a little bit further. We do have several businesses that are current partners of ours. However, we want to continue to increase this list. For example, I will use Northeast Precast. With our Perkins program, Northeast Precast is on what's called our advisory board. And for those of you that have visited CC Tech, they have the same model. A lot of our career and tech ed programs follow this. They are advising us of how we should gauge our curriculum, what type of materials we should be working with, and how we can best serve so that they can graduate and have marketable skills to be future employees within Northeast Precast. Next slide. So, some things that we've offered is we have dual credit courses. Our students can come out of Millville Public Schools with almost a completed associate's degree for whatever they choose. We're increasing this list by the day. I just am preparing an articulation agreement with the New Jersey Institute of Technology, and we're expanding on our law enforcement and forensics programs. So we do offer many dual credits. Next slide. We also offer advanced placement. So with advanced placement, our students are able to take rigorous courses. I'm really loud, I don't need it anyway. Advanced placement courses, they would then take a test at the end of the course, and then those credits, depending on their performance of a 3 or higher, would be able to go and transfer that credit to any other university. We've been very fortunate with our dual credits and dual enrollments. RCSJ, and I want to say thank you, Dr. Picone, for that, for working together with Millville Public Schools, has provided us with a tremendous amount of opportunities for our students, and we continue to grow to be able to provide those opportunities. And this is where the Career in Tech Ed comes. We have various amounts of programs, and I want to go on to some graphics, just so you can see how our facility has truly really stepped up its game with the school development project at Millville High School. This is our fitness center. All students will be participating in some type of weight training within our curriculum, and we've now increased to strength and conditioning as a health and PE elective. So all of our athletes train in our fitness center. Our wood shop and construction tech, for any of the business owners that are in that field, our students have a new state-of-the-art wood shop and construction tech facility. They just finished for our competition in the fall, a trebuchet, which was used at the Rowan College Engineering Pumpkin Chunkin' Contest, and we did once again win this year. Culinary arts. We have 2 commercial culinary arts kitchens, one for baking, one for cooking. We currently service 12 sections of students. That's almost 300 students that are getting trained in culinary arts. We go up to 3 levels, and they are Serve Safe. They do get Serve Safe certification upon exit. Our automotive program. Excuse me. We have a 6-bay garage where students are ASE certified upon completion of the appropriate tests and come out, and they can be employed in any dealership in the area. And we have articulation agreements with some dealerships where they're advising us through the advisory process. And then Certified Nursing Assistant Program. We are working with RCSJ in partnership. This is a full lab with hospital beds, all state-of-the-art, so that our students can be come out with a certification in the Certified Nursing Assistant certification. And I just want to remind everyone, communication has really been, and I want to thank Meg Finney for this, has really been on the forefront to make sure that we are doing so many great things every day with all of our levels, to really follow us on all of our social media platforms, so you can just really stay abreast of what's going on throughout the Millville Public Schools. And now I would like to turn it over to Rich Davidson, who is our business administrator. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start off, trying to figure out what is the business administrator going to present that's going to captivate everyone for an afternoon. Is it, finance and facilities? Is it compliance paperwork? Is it the budget? I settled on facilities and the upgrades that we're doing. So we're just going to highlight some of the things that are happening for this year and continuing into the summer. So our 3 big projects, Millville High School. A little deal I have with Stephanie, she gets all the completed photographs, anything that's under construction, they're mine. So we also have Silver Run Elementary School. We have a full HVAC replacement renovation project plan. And then Wheaton Field. So Performing Arts Center. That's the inside. We're expecting that to be completed on March 17th. I will believe it when I see it. So hopefully by the end of March it'll be done. I mean, when we started, it was a 4-year construction project. We're now in year 5. So hopefully at some point we'll be able to finish this. We'll get the arts programs in there And we should be good and up and running for September 1st. Civil Run HVAC. So a lot of research has been going on with air quality and its effect on the health and safety of our children. So we're going through, and if you're familiar with the Silver Run area, it's a high humidity area. The air quality isn't great when it's coming into the building. So we're planning a full renovation of the HVAC system at Silver Run. And we went back and forth. We were debating, do you do individual units? Do you do chillers on the roof? And one of the things that we decided, we're going to do individual units. So we can go to that next picture, Matt. So each classroom will have its own individual unit to provide air conditioning at Silver Run. And one of the reasons we chose that is for the maintenance and the ease of use for that. So now when we're experiencing an outage in one of our schools, we have wings that are down at a time. We're calling in contractors for those repairs. Now it's one classroom at a time. So we're looking forward to that at Silver Run. It's about a $12 million project. And for us, we're fortunate that if you remember in the heyday of COVID, all the federal government funds that were coming through, the ESSER funds, the ARP funds, we're using those funds to fund that program. So it's no cost to the taxpayers at all. That's all federally funded. And here's the big project going on. So I say Wheaton Field, but it's more of an athletic complex. It's more than just the field. Yes, we're redoing the track. We're going from a 5.5 lane track to a full 6 lane track. How we got the 5.5, I don't know, but we're correcting it and we're moving forward. Millville's finally going to have a turf field. So we're behind the times. Bridgeton had one, CC Tech, finally, they all have the turf field. We're going with new LED lighting. We're going with 50 candle lighting. It's good for football, it's good for lacrosse, it's good for field hockey. So it's going to be a multi-sport field. It's going to be lined for all those sports. All of our programs will be able to use and access that field. If you look up here, there's the ticket booth and the main entry. So yes, we've gone to online ticketing, but that's for Millville Public Schools. We're expecting there's going to be a lot of use out of this facility. So all of our partners in the community, if they're coming out, they're using the facility, they may need to access these ticket booths. So it's more of a community project than just a school district project. So we're very excited by that. Tony's race, I apologize. I've already gotten grief about this. Millville is down in the first quarter. We're planning a big comeback. Not sure who the Lions are, but the way we play, it could be the Detroit Lions. So, touche. We'll make a comeback on that. So, on that, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything with this project. It's funded through capital reserve. So capital reserve funds are funds that we've accumulated over a number of years. So as we've gone through and we've had our fiscal years, we close out during the audit process, and we have funds that are left over. They're put away. They're put into capital reserves, and then when you accumulate those funds, you can pull those out for different projects. So this project is something I inherited. This happened. This is 10 years in the making with. Bryce Kell was putting money away for this when he was the DA 10 years ago. So fortunately, it's just been able to occur during my time. So it's funded through capital reserve, no additional cost to the taxpayers. It's the track expansion, the turf field. We're repositioning the bleachers. We're getting new LED lights, new goalposts, new scoreboard, new fencing throughout, whether it's decorative or chain link around the track, new ticket booths, and game lighting, and increased site lighting. So Scott Fargan will talk to you about some of the security initiatives going on, but what we're planning is increased lighting at Wheaton Field. Because if you've been there, you know certain areas are not as well lit as others, so we're looking to correct that. It's lined for football, soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, and we plan to have this up and running for football season. So I say football season, but it'll be football season, it'll be soccer season, it'll be field hockey season. All sports will participate. And with that, I'll turn it over to Scott Fargan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for having us today. I am tasked with overseeing safety and security for all 9 of our Millville public schools, from pre-K all the way to the senior high school and Thunderbolt Alternative School. On top of that, I oversee sports, after-school events, basically anything to do with safety and security falls under my department, and that I work in hand with our athletic director, with our VA, assistant superintendent, etc. That's all. Unfortunately, as we all know, because it hits national news all the time, that safety and security has had to take the forefront when it comes to education. So a lot of times before we even have the conversations about curriculum, about lesson plans and education in the classroom, we have to talk about how are we keeping the student staff safe. And that constantly evolves. Who would have thought that just last month a kindergartner would have brought a gun to school, right? So every time something happens, safety and security is a living, breathing thing. We have to switch gears, we have to take a step back, we have to reevaluate and reapproach. So it's a little bit of a daunting task. So in order to keep track of everything, in order to address everything, I've taken a departmental approach, and we kind of break down what safety and security means in our district into categories. So first, we look at the vulnerability and integrity of our actual structures, our buildings. Do doors lock? Do windows close? Do we have unwanted roof access, things of that nature? So the vulnerability is a big factor. Advancements in technology. How can we use technology to support our overall mission of keeping everything safe and secure? Communication, right? So I have the fire department in the room, and I'm sure the police department, anyone from first responders will tell you communication is key. How do we communicate with first responders? How do we communicate inside of our school if there's an emergency? So there's a lot of laws that regulate what we do in education when it comes to safety and security, and they're growing constantly. So how do we comply with those laws? I will speak specifically about Alyssa's law, which is about panic alarms and things in our schools. And we've recently hired armed security. I'll speak on that in a later slide. But we have one armed security personnel, school security specialist, for every one of our 9 schools. And that kind of feeds back into the vulnerability section of the way I've departmentalized or categorized. And last, but definitely not least, is the human factor, right? So it doesn't matter what we bring to the table in any of those other categories. If we don't train our staff and our students, the people that we're going to protect, that we're postured to protect, if they don't understand our mission and they don't do the things that need to be done, then all else is moot at that point. As we've seen, and I'll touch on that in my last slide, but as we've seen in the past, unfortunately, from these debriefings, a lot of times it's the human factor that's broken down and allowed schools to become vulnerable. Next slide. To the vulnerability section, so the first couple slides will speak on that. So we have key card access. You can see each one of our employees throughout the district have key card access to our buildings, swipe cards. And in this particular program that we use, we have the ability to limit access to certain buildings, to shut down access at certain times, and in an emergency, we can shut down access to certain buildings altogether. One of the big undertakings that my department has done this year is our first responders. The police department, I believe the fire department too, but if it hasn't gotten to that point yet, we'll talk and we'll make sure it's done. But the police department, they have swipe cards for the police department anyway. We were able to take those swipe cards, program them to our system, so if we have an event at our schools, they could use those swipe cards to enter our schools, any door, anywhere, and respond to that event. So they have access to our like a master key, if you will, to all of our schools and all of our buildings. Next slide. Security vestibules are huge. So my background is in law enforcement. I'm retired from Bristol Police Department. I am a Millville alum. So my parents still live here in Millville, so I'm a Thunderbolt through and through. But I did work for Bristol Police Department. And prior to that, I worked at Southwood State Prison before I went to Bristol Police. So security vestibules, I look at like sally ports, right? And I'll show you a couple slides, or the next slide will show you that. But I just want to touch on them real quick. But it's to limit access to our schools. You simply can't walk up to a school now and just walk right in, right? You're going to walk up into a sally port. You're going to speak to one of our security staff. And if you don't have a reason to enter that school, then you're just going to do your business right there in the lobby, right? And if you have a reason to enter our schools, we will vet you. You will provide identification. We will have the person you're there to meet come meet you and escort you. So gone are the days where schools, unfortunately, are free-for-all. I know it's a change. So I went to my children's school to pick up my son, and I had to wait outside as he came out to me. So these are changes in culture that, unfortunately, have to conform to the trends that we see nationally. The best schools that we currently have completed, Millville Senior High School, Lakeside Middle School, and Silver Run are actually functioning currently now. Being built as we speak, literally as we speak. Holly Heights Elementary School, Mount Pleasant, and Child Family Center, the preschool, are being built. Like I said, as we speak right now, the crews are there building them. Plans for next year, R.M. Bacon Elementary School and Rick Avenue. And they are a little bit, especially Rick Avenue, the VA could speak to this, but Rick Avenue is going to be a huge undertaking because we're actually going to flip that school. That's where I'm a jet. The main entry of that school is in the rear. So we want to flip that school, make the main entry up front. That's where our Sallyport vestibule is going to be. So it's going to be a little bit of an undertaking there, but that's planned for next school year along with Bacon, which again is also a huge undertaking because that's one of our oldest schools in the district. The vestibules, well, real quick, Mike, I'm sorry. The vestibules, again, they're staffed with security. The main tasks of the security that are there are to screen the visitors. All the doors are controlled electronically through push-button access. So again, someone can't just walk right in. They provide additional oversight of the security cameras. I'll speak on that a little bit more in a minute. But in the vestibules, they provide additional oversight of security cameras so they can see what's going on. And they can dispatch our other security staff throughout the district, throughout the building, if there's a threat outside or inside, or they have to address something with the student monitoring halls, etc. They can see that, and they work as a quasi-dispatch as well. Next slide. So here's the 3 security vestibules that are completed. Top to your right would be Silver Run. Top left is Lakeside. And this is the shot, the vestibule is there. This is actually the foyer. This is the senior high school. And this is actually a working shot of the vestibule. And I wanted to point out a few things that I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes. But to the top right there that I have the security cameras that they monitor. This is the door access. So they can control, they can actually see a video if somebody hits the doorbell, kind of like think of Ring, and they can let them in or not let them in. And their circle, we have one of our panic buttons, which I'll talk about in a second. Surveillance cameras. So surveillance cameras are huge. They allow, again, it's a piece of technology that allows us to take one set of eyes and then view every access and egress point throughout the whole school. So it's a force multiplier, if you will. We can have one security person monitor those cameras and direct where to respond if they see certain threats. Via the software that we have, we are able to review those cameras live remotely as well. And that access is only given to a select few. The superintendent has access, I have access. So this isn't like a blanket, everyone gets to see what's going on in our schools. But remote access allows us to monitor the schools. For instance, if we're closed for an extended holiday, before the students return, I will go on those cameras. For every one of our schools, I will go through and I will see if there's any doors that are open that weren't open, that shouldn't have been open, if our schools were breached in any way. I will actually do a walkthrough, if you will, via camera from home, from the comfort of my chair, and look at every single one of our schools to make sure the students are safe returning, that there's nothing out of place or out of the ordinary. So the remote access is really good for that feature as well. Next. Communication, two-way radio communication. So we've had this in our district for a while, but this school year, we've upgraded it. So we went digital, which again, the first responders will say, they go back and know that the digital network will give us a wider range, better quality, We were able to go with five designated working channels specific for each school. So the way that works is channel 1 is the school-specific regular working channel that they use for their daily responsibilities, and then they have 4 talk-around channels. So if they have to have a private conversation, they can switch to any one of those other channels. Excuse me. We had repeaters installed in all of our schools. So from any radio that are district radios, so the superintendent and I have base stations in our office, and we can talk to each school individually. We have a district talk around where they can talk to school if they have sporting events or things like that, like Mr. Lagamba can talk to Memorial Football Field from the senior high. This is huge. We have a designated channel directly communicating with the Millville Police Department. In their dispatch, they have an emergency base station, and if we have an event like an active shooter, something serious, they can go to that channel and talk directly to the police immediately. And that is the capability in every single one of our schools with our radios. And then every teacher that goes outside with a student, with a class, has a radio in their possession for those exact reasons. Next slide. Alyssa's Law, I want to point out this date, February 14th, we're pushing the 5-year anniversary. It's the Parkland shooting. And these are some of the laws that we have to comply with. We had panic buttons installed in every single one of our schools, hardwired panic buttons that communicate directly with the Millville Police Department. So once they're hit, if we have an active shooter or anything like that, it goes right to the police department. That's phase 1 of this program. Phase 2 of 911 Inform, which is the company that we went with. There's going to be eventually mapping and camera integration directly to the police department as well. So the mobile data terminals that they have in their vehicles, if this is hit, they will see live camera views. Only when this is hit, they will see live camera views and active mapping of our schools so they know where to respond. That's phase 2 that we're working on. Armed security, we have a firm, Kevin DePatry, who's a retired trooper, has KD, National Force Security. We brought in 9 school safety specialists. They're all retired law enforcement. And they are, they focus on the vulnerability of our schools. They are to address the exterior, interior perimeters. They're to check doors, they're to watch cameras. And as our other security aid staff that address school and hallway behavior, they are to focus on the integrity and vulnerability of our actual schools. And they all are law enforcement, retired law enforcement. Next slide. And again, the human factor. Nothing else matters that we just talked about. If we don't train and communicate the need for certain behaviorals to our staff and students. If they're not locking doors behind them, if they're using the wrong doors, if they're propping doors, none of the other technology matters. So we work hand in hand with the New Jersey Department of Education Office of School Preparedness, New Jersey State Police, Homeland Security, FBI. I have a working relationship with all of them. We meet, we train, and then we deliver that to our staff and explain the importance of the human behavior. We also have procedures, directives, and protocol in place they must follow. So that's a brief overview of what we've accomplished so far and what we will continue to work on in our district. And if you guys have any questions after, feel free to approach and talk. Thank you.
As you can see, everyone in Millville Public Schools has been working very hard to make sure that not only are students safe, but that we have the necessary facilities to make sure we're not only providing our kids, but being competitive with other school districts, and then making sure that our staff are supported and students are supported both emotionally and academically. But as closing, I just want to say that none of this would be possible without the support from our parents and also the hard work from our teachers and support personnel in all of our departments. That goes right down from custodians to paraprofessionals to secretaries, everyone within every department working together to really have a cohesive educational system to be what's best for our kids. So, and with that, I thank you, and if anyone has any questions. Yes?
I find it hard to believe that I've known you for 35 or 40 years, and here I am listening to this. It's fantastic where you come from and to today. That's really amazing.
Thank you.
But I do have a question, and I don't know who should answer this. Can you discuss the negative effect of the pandemic in your system?
All right. I would say the negative, with the pandemic, we were thrown into a scenario that we were not adequately prepared for. both facility-wise with materials to make sure that our students and faculty were safe, as well as converting to a remote learning type of model. We were not a one-to-one device district, so we didn't even have the materials to even implement it. However, meaning each student had a computer, okay? And if we were in a more affluent district, that wouldn't necessarily be a concern, but our students don't have devices. Many of our students don't even have Wi-Fi. So we did even have to go to that extent to provide Wi-Fi for instruction to continue. But I will say, with that being said, we have provided all of that when we were living in the midst of it. I was principal at that time. Coming now, we've seen a lot of gaps academically and socially and emotionally with our students. And we're really working hard to provide those additional services. A lot of the additional funding has helped with that. But I will say from a secondary level, and then I'll turn it over to Dr. Mazzoni on our littles. I like to call them in the secondaries. With our secondary students, really they became very much more recluse. They had a really difficult time transitioning and being able to do things, such basic things like conflict resolution. Their social skills were lost. As a parent of a 15-year-old, my son entering high school forgot how to play school. He was used to sitting in front of a computer and doing work. He was not used to socially interacting with people. He was not used to timelines because we were very sensitive to that. So I would say, from a secondary level, we've really had to retrain them on how to interact with each other. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Mazzoni on the elementaries.
Just to add, so Stephanie touched on a lot of those points, and I said it in my presentation. Right now, our chronic absenteeism rate in the district is around 35%. That means that students have missed 10% of school days, possible school days. So we know it's important to show up, right? The first step in anything is showing up. So we have to really tackle that challenge, and we're looking at ways to make sure we put some incentive programs in school, just make it where a place that they want to be at. But we also know that there's other medical restrictions out there. So we're just putting eyes on that and put a plan of action to address it.
Any other questions?
I just want to comment. I have two grandkids that are going to make a third grader and a kindergarten. You know, I'm just amazed at the level, starting from pre-K, but what they're learning and how they're coming home from, and just as they scale the schools in Bacon. In town, we used to people would look, I was in the fire department for years. When we look at certain schools, people would think how the bad kids are at one school versus, to me, always that the best kids were coming out of Bacon. People think that's the worst part of town, but I'm just amazed at the program and how great.
We appreciate that, and we'll make sure we'll share that.
I did see one school that was evaluating young children coming in for their nutritional status and then changing their diet to add to their needs. Is there any evaluation of the young students coming in to see if they have proper nutrition, not proper calories, but proper nutrition, which is, of course, to help them to learn?
Yeah, so part of, so I can speak on from the health, physical education and health standards. They are embedded into our health program. So we teach our entire unit on nutrition. So that is a focal point.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation. It's always interesting and giving updates on our schools and what wonderful things they're doing in it. So at this time, we want to draw 2 names for a free lunch to next month's luncheon. And the first person is Daniel Conley. name to the chamber so that when you register, you'll be on there for free lunch. Minerva Alvarado. We'll do the same for you. We'll give your name to the chamber. I wanted to add a little more to what Jerry mentioned about the Chamber's relocation to Reeves and Melvin on High Street, which was official on February 1st. And I want to say a huge thank you to some special people that assisted to make that move possible. Thank you, Jerry and Deanne Cavella, Gary Galloway, Don Daigle, Rob Connor, Lou Thompson, and Phil Lanning. And if I missed anyone else, I do apologize, but thank you for all making that move smooth and seamless. Thank you for all attending today, and remember to get involved in the Greater Millville Chamber of Commerce and get or stay involved in our Holly City. In closing, just a reminder to mark your calendars and join us at the March 8th luncheon when Mayor Orndorff presents her State of the City address. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and if you're an Eagles fan, go Eagles on Sunday.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.